russosbrand.com, where the pros are the pros. Stevie, I'm watching this opening segment. Guys, do you remember how important the opening segment of Raw used to be? There were two things that were very important. The opening segment, because you gotta hook them for the rest of the show, and the closing because you want to bring him back next week. I'm watching this opening segment with Liv and Io Sky, and I'm like, man, the opening segment doesn't even mean anything anymore. They're not even trying to hook or get one person interested in watching this show.
Can I just say, like, just to break that down in different writing terms, like, you're talking about the fundamentals of writing any script. You start with an inciting incident, and if it's episodic, you close with a cliffhanger. And we're not. And is that any shock from the guy who would open the show for 25 minutes with his wife doing a promo for 5 years while they were like that? They don't know how to do an inciting incident. You go and watch movies and someone just does a 25-minute monologue to open the show. Like, you get the heel over first, you have the action, and then you introduce your hero.
Why, I have to correct you on that. First and foremost, one of my favorite catchers in Major League Baseball history is Yogi Berra. So Yogi Berra, I like.
He was great.
He's great. I would dare say 25-minute promos. We're still talking about those authority promos today, so they must have been memorable to some extent.
Yeah.
Also,
the pain was memorable having to sit through them. That's my only thing.
Vince, you wrote the Attitude Era. You wrote hooks. You knew how to keep people right from minute one of Raw. Even the openings of Raw and SmackDown used to be at least somewhat interesting. They would either do a cold open or would do the really high production opening with the good music that you would be like, okay, I'm kind of warmed up and ready for the show. But what changed and what made it to where they just do promos? How's that supposed to carry the other 2 hours and 35 minutes?
Bro, did you guys catch this? Stevie, I'm watching this show, and I don't know if you guys knew it or not. I think it was either Thursday or last Monday. Bro, the day of a show, Stephanie and Triple H were at the White House with Robert Kennedy Jr. The day of a show. But, bro, this was the kicker. I don't know if you guys were there. They were at the White House, bro, with Kennedy Jr. And the reason they were there, bro, was they were promoting, nutrition and healthy food and exercise for kids. That's what they were promoting.
Nutrition?
Yeah, bro, somebody emailed me.
Is that in between dialysis sessions?
Well, bro, somebody emailed me and said, Vince, take a look at who their freaking sponsors are. And these guys have the gall to be at the White House with Robert Kennedy talking about good nutrition for children. Bro, this whole thing it's such it's beyond being a joke at this point.
Minute Maid fruit punch and Slim Jims are on the food pyramid. With the
Toast Crunch, whiskey, vodka, Prime.
Yeah, Wheatley, Prime, Wheatley and Prime.
Yeah, and they're promoting that the day of a show. But I do want to start with this because, bro, this is something nobody picked up. And I know you guys did, and I want to talk about this. Bro, I am watching SmackDown. And again, bro, everything I watch is from a writing perspective. I'm not a talent. I'm not a worker. I'm not a fanboy. I'm not a dirt sheet. I'm watching everything from a writing perspective. Bro, they got the King of the Ring tournament. They got the Fatal 4-Way with the women. They got a little angle between Alexa Bliss and Charlotte. So we do the thing where it's the double pin. Bro, if Alexa gets the pin and Alba Fyre taps out at the same time, that should have been the finish, because now you've got a match between Alexa Bliss and Charlotte to determine who goes forward in King of the Ring. They are stretching for freaking content. You've got a tailor-made match now between Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. The winner of the match progresses into King of the Ring. But that's not what happened, bro. And as I'm watching this, bro, before the finish of the match, Rudy is reffing the match. And Ben and Stevie, I'm looking at Rudy, and you got the double pin right next to each other, and Rudy keeps looking and looking and looking, and finally does the 1, 2, 3. We never see Alba Fyre tap out after the 1, 2, 3. Now, what happens after this is interesting. The announcers tell you, oh, Alba Fyre immediately tapped out after the 1, 2, 3. A second later. Number one, we never saw it. Number two, they never replayed it. And number three, things seemed really, really awkward between Charlotte and Alexa Bliss on that finish. It was like really, really awkward. So my conspiracy theory is one of two things, because if Triple H has this much of Booker Ryder in him, that should have been a double. It should have been a pin and the tap out at the same exact time. Now these two have a match. That's a no-brainer. That's what the finish should have been. So I think one of either two things happened. I think either Alba Fyre tapped out late and Rudy had to count the 1, 2, 3, because, bro, knowing Rudy's going to count the 1, 2, 3. Whether that's the finish or not, or whether the girl is tapping in time, Rudy's going to count 1, 2, 3. Or was Charlotte not in on this? Did Charlotte think it was supposed to be the tap out the same time as the pin, and they pulled a quick one on Charlotte? And like I said, bro, how many times that probably is the most important replay of the entire week. And there was no replay to show her tapping out just a second after Alexa Bliss got the 1, 2, 3. So I don't think that was supposed to be the finish, Stevie.
No, what everybody missed, probably a lot of people missed, the tap out was kind of in the corner afterwards, like 2 seconds after. But this is your classic belly to back finish where both shoulders are down. 1, 2, one guy gets his shoulder up, the other gets pinned. She got the left shoulder up, but she didn't over exaggerate and roll the shoulder. She just did this. Did you notice that, Ben?
Yeah.
So the pin was a consecutive pin at the same time, but Fyre got her shoulder up before 3 and then tapped out. Now that's a muddy thing right there. It should have just been this or tap out a couple seconds afterwards, or even a pass out or something. But what they were trying to do was the double pin finish where one person gets their shoulder up
at the last second.
Except it's 4 people, opposite ends. The ref's not counting the same shoulders in the same vicinity, really. Sees the shoulder comes up, then counts the 3 anyway. Then there's the tap. So there's kind of 3 different finishes: the pin, the false finish, and the tap out afterwards.
Ben?
But the problem is, and absolutely I agree with that assessment of what the spot was supposed to be, but everyone's out of position. So Rudy should be able to see it, and everybody should get up thinking they won. And he's like, no. And the announcers should be split too. She tapped out, she pinned. Like, everyone should have their camp to back up. And now what do we have? We have a controversial finish.
Right.
And then it can be restarted, or that we're calling this off and we'll wait till we get the authorities' word on it. And maybe all this rules or Pierce rules but somebody goes to Triple H and overrules them, like that shows Charlotte's political power. Then during the Queen of the Ring match, those girls who were scorned have a reason to run in, and you've got a blood feud and backstage politics that plays in off of what the finish should be. But nobody played their part to get over the controversy or the people who won it to be like, no, I'm the winner. No, I am. And it keeps going. Like, the idea is there, but you have to have the correct follow through on it.
And speaking of the idea being there, and again, bro, like these freaking agents, I mean, I'm sorry, but they freaking suck, because Ben, I kept thinking about you at the end of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, Jey Uso is going out there with tape ribs. Not one heel is trying to take the tape off. Not one heel is working the ribs. And then, bro, he splashes off the top rope twice and never sells the ribs. So, brother, why are you going out there with taped ribs in the first place? They never used it, Ben. This is Wrestling 101. We've seen every heel since Don Leo Jonathan rip off the tape and work on the freaking ribs. Not the heels did not go after that. And then he splashed twice, never selling the rib.
And you got a guy out there who's a Zeppelin who does splashes, and you could have had the blood capsule. He's got internal bleeding, all that kind of shit, dude. None of it. And this shit is all an ab workout. You should go, and sell on a yeet.
I mean, Stevie, how do you explain that? That is so basic and freaking fundamental, man.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the way they do it now. I guess if you want to defend Jey to any point, the culture of the business is WWE, AEW, TNA, anything in between, is that if you sell too much, if you get sympathy, if you're too vulnerable as a babyface, you're going to be looked at as weak. That's the only logical explanation I can think of, that the office will not think you're a really good worker, will not think you're over if you do not just look strong all the time. In the end, forget how to sell, don't do anything. Well, maybe in 2 weeks we'll say you're still injured, plug it into a storyline when it's convenient, then forget it when we need to forget it again. That's Ben, do you see that? I mean, I would be as a worker, well, I just got to stop selling them, because if I don't, I'm not going to in anymore.
As opposed to,
I'm just going to be putting people over. That's all I'm going to do.
As opposed to your coach down at NXT, who's regarded as the greatest seller of all time. And you're not selling anything. That's the babyface's job. And the whole match could have been that his ribs are, and everyone's working heat on his ribs, and they think it's easy pickings. So you keep doing saves, and guys keep getting saves on each other, right? Go ahead, please.
I got to stop you. Is he really? This is a guy that has a bad back, a legitimate bad back at WrestleMania when he fought Austin, and still managed to nip up.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying this is a guy that Raven had said when Raven was going to be a producer way back in the day, that Sean's gear was the same exact gear 20 minutes into the match, running the ropes and doing everything, as it was in minute one.
Yeah.
So are we not seeing that right now?